Let's go, let's go. We live, baby. What is up? It's Thursday night. Top 5 baits. Actually, it's not even going to be top 5. We're going to do more than 5. We're going to explain to you. We're going to go a little more in depth. I'm going to kind of maybe change up how I've done these in the past. I'm going to go into an in-depth report and really go over my game plan for tomorrow, which should hopefully translate to you guys and help you guys develop a game plan for Saturday and Sunday. Or if you're going to be out on the water tomorrow, maybe that'll help you as well. So we're going to do a little bit different format. As you guys get in here, do me a favor, hit them thumbs up. First thing, hit them thumbs up if you don't mind. I would really appreciate that. Also, drop me a comment. Let me know you're here. I'd love to say hello to each and every one of you that I possibly get to. We got a couple comments coming in already. Busting Outdoors, what's up? What's up, buddy? Kevin Jones in the house. Johnny the Kid, my hero. That's a lie. At best, it's a loose definition of the term hero. We appreciate you anyway, J-Bo. Jared K is in the house. What's going on, guys? 5 Keepers Fishing. They're coming in hot now. We're coming in hot now. Cody May is in the house. Awesome, dude. You guys continue to hit those thumbs up. Drop those comments. Really appreciate y'all doing that for me. Melton the Horn and Ronnie Green. Big C, what's up, bro? Ham bro, what's up? JC, 6 Mile Outdoors is happening. Justin Long, Vols fan, 969. We won't hold that against you, Vols fan. Just kidding, buddy. Joshua Ilrig, I think. I don't even know how to say that. Gary Payne's in the house, man. A lot of you guys joining us tonight. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to change the format of top 5 baits. It's not going to be top 5 baits. It's just going to be top baits for this weekend, or for this week. That's how we're going to do it. I'm going to kind of give you guys a little more in-depth report than what we've done in the past. Let me know what y'all think of this format after I've done it, or even right now if you like the idea of it. I'll probably monkey it up, screw it up real bad, but we'll try to get better as we go along. So I'm going to tell you guys how I'm going to my game plan for my trip tomorrow, okay? And I've got 7 baits lined up over here to show you guys that I'm going to use throughout the day tomorrow. So the first thing I'm going to do, first thing in the morning, right now what we got going on is the water is finally starting to establish itself over 80 degrees. I believe we'll have morning temps tomorrow right at 80 degrees. That's what they were, I believe, this morning. We've been kind of waiting for that. It's not that having temps in the 70s is bad. That's great. I love having water temps in the 70s. It's just as fishermen, we want to do what we've done in years past, like this time of year. And until that water gets over 80 degrees, normally the water's well over 80 degrees by the middle of May, really. So we're behind. And so we're not having as many fish show up on these patterns that we're wanting them to show up on. Things that we know how to do this time of year, spots that we know to fish this time of year. We've really had to kind of stay on our toes and adapt to not normal conditions for June 4th. That being said, the water's finally getting over 80 degrees. To me, that morning temp, that water getting established and stabilized over 80 degrees is really when a lot of those summer bites, those fish transition out of spring into summer. And that goes for deep and shallow fish, folks. Make no mistake about it. We've provided a great deal of video evidence on this channel over the years that you do not have to only fish deep offshore structure in the summertime. In fact, on a lake like Lake Fork, sometimes it can be a headache out there because it's like you're just trading spots with guys left and right, man. There's just guys everywhere. Everybody's fishing offshore. You can't find anywhere to fish. And that is what really has driven me to fish more and more shallow in the summertime over the years. So right now, tomorrow, I'm going to go over my game plan. We got good warm weather. We're going to have good warm weather for the rest of the weekend. Next week, maybe have a little curveball, but right now for this weekend, we're good, sunny, warm weather. Everything's warm trending, water stabilizing over 80. So let's get into the game plan. The first thing I'm going to do this time of year, I think anytime you're late spring, early summer, anytime the water's warm, I think early in the morning, the top water is a great way to start. The 2 top waters that I'm using right now, of course, a frog. I'm going to have a frog tied on ready to go to throw around some vegetation up shallow in the morning. I'm also going to have a small little yellow magic. The deal is, guys, there's a little bit of a shad spawn still happening right now. But the shad that are spawning are very small threadfin shad. And you can find a lot of this small shad spawn, smaller size shad, spawning around vegetation right now. Kind of randomly pop up here and there throughout the vegetation. Well, when that happens, the smaller profile topwaters work best. Now, I throw the frog around grass because I just throw the frog around grass because it's efficient and it comes in and out of the grass. You can fish it. It's very versatile. It's very easy. You can throw it in any kind of cover you want to. But when I have that scattered area where that grass is subsurface, little yellow magics. Normally, I really like the splash back from 6 cents. But this bait, this little half ounce yellow magic, or quarter-ounce yellow magic, excuse me. Very, very small topwater bait. It really mimics, and especially with that feather on the back that it got right there on the back hook, it really mimics those smaller shad really well, and it really has been my best bite getter on topwaters here lately. So we're gonna start with 2 topwaters first thing. The other thing we'll have going at the same time, I do have the luxury of being a fishing guide, so I always have other people on my boat, which in a lot of ways makes things easier for me, because I can throw a topwater, have one of my customers throwing a topwater, and the other customer throwing something else, and me throwing something else, and we can really run through, you know, about 3 different baits at a time to try and dial in the bite for that day. Because the bait they'll bite the best will vary from day to day some. So the other thing we're going to start out with early in these shallow areas is going to be small swim baits and a chatterbait. I'm using the Divine. This is the electric China color. This is just a phenomenal color. Throwing this on an underspin. Again, anytime these fish are feeding on smaller shad, I really like these underspins. Anytime there's a bit of a feeding frenzy going on, I really like these underspins. Adds a little vibration, adds a little attention getting, bite drawing power, which I really like. So Divine swim bait on a owner flashy swimmer hook in electric shiner. And then I'm going to throw a chatterbait, honestly, because I just throw a chatterbait a lot. That's my #1 confidence bait. Beehite Delight has been a really good color lately. I don't know why. I mean, yeah, they're eating brim, but they're also eating shad. It's just, I'm rotating back and forth. I'm kind of throwing both the Beehite Delight and the white chatterbaits every day. And just oftentimes they're biting both kind of equal. To be honest with you, it's kind of a coin flip between white and Beehite Delight on the chatterbait colors right now. So one thing about fishing, there's no absolutes. Yeah, they're feeding on shad, bro. If they're gonna bite Beehite Delight, I'm gonna throw it. You know, so that's what we're doing. So that's how we're gonna start out. We're gonna get in a shallow pocket with a mixture of vegetation. It's got a little coontail. It's got a little bit of hydrilla, mostly coontail. Got some lily pads, got some flooded vegetation like pondweed, gator grass, stuff like that. A little bit of mixture of all kinds of vegetation in the pocket that I'm going to start out in. We're going to try to capitalize on that bite first thing in the morning. Once that is done, we're going to transition and go offshore. We're going to go graph fish on long main lake extended points, long ridges that run way out into the lake. And I'm really going to be open-ended as to the depth. I'm going to kind of graph them all till I find some fish, because these fish can be in a little bit of every depth right now until we start getting some thermocline set up, which should happen here in the next few weeks if we keep having warm weather. The fish will be a little bit unpredictable as to what depth they'll be on. So I'm going to graph a bunch of different structures in a bunch of different depths until I find a couple that are holding fish. Once I find a good group of fish, the baits I'm going to try to use to catch them, I've got 3 baits here that I'm really focusing on this week offshore. These are the baits that are the best this week offshore. Now, last week, that swing head was really good, and man, that swing head's not a bad bait to throw, but this week, these are the 3 baits that I'm really focusing on offshore. One's going to be the big 3/4 ounce hybrid jig. They are biting the jig a little bit this week. We are dragging it and hopping it. I wouldn't say full on stroking it, but we're giving it some pretty good hops off the bottom to get some fish to trigger on the jig. Not just constantly, like, you know, when you're stroking it, you're just whop, whop, jumping it way off the bottom, and as soon as it lands, you're hopping it again. So we're not really stroking it, but we are giving it some hops now and again, and a lot of times that is drawing a reaction and getting a bite from the fish. The jig that I'm using, this is a 3/4 ounce hybrid jig from 6 Sense Fishing. The color is Crawfish Drone. It's my favorite offshore color. We're using a full stroker crawl on the back, and that's green pumpkin burst right there. You can also throw regular green pumpkin. Anything green really is pretty good on the back of that Crawfish Drone color. So that's one offshore bait. Another offshore bait is going to be what we call Big Perm. Say it with me. Say it with me. Drop in the comments. Big Perm. Y'all know what it is. So we're using the big 6 Sense Magnum shaky head. And the deal with this shaky head is, as you can see, I'll put my finger right there. That's a big 7/0 hook. This is a 5/8 ounce shaky head from 6 Sense. That hook is the best big shaky head hook in the game, bar none. Great stand-up head, great screw lock, holds the bait on there really well. Just a great design, my favorite shaky head on planet Earth right there. We're going to throw Big Perm, and we're throwing Big Perm in a few different colors. Tonight I want to feature a color that we don't really talk about. It's a special color. It has a little bit of an emotional meaning to me, this color does. And I'll explain that. So this color is called Goat Melon. And as you can see, it's kind of like a brownish, greenish color on bottom, and then on top it's like a watermelon with blue flake. Okay. Anything green with blue flake as we get into summertime is a phenomenal color, phenomenal color. This particular color is really special to me. Mr. Stanley Owen Smith, who used to work with Smash Tech Custom Baits and made a lot of baits, he passed away a couple years ago. And this was Stan's creation. This color was what we call a Stan bait. Stan had a bad habit of taking used plastics and mixing them up and making different colors and making different baits. And this goat melon color, it's called goat melon, was a Stanley Owen creation. So obviously we love Stan. He was a great man. He was, one of the better men I've ever met in my life. We lost him too soon, of course, and so to be able to go out and still catch fish on something that was a Stanley creation is just a little bit of an emotional tie. I really enjoy catching them on that. It's a really good color. Green with blue flakes, always a good color in the summertime anywhere in this region of East Texas that we live in. The other colors we're using are plum apple and green pumpkin. And that's the three colors that's the only three colors I'm throwing. And really, I honestly don't think that the color matters that much. They'll bite all three equally some days, but I really like using that because of my emotional attachment to it. So, big perms out there, we're throwing that out deep. Now, they don't always want a bait being drug on the bottom out deep. When they don't, maybe the most underrated moving bait that I'm really not hearing anybody else talk about. I don't know why people aren't using it as much as they are. Maybe they are using it and they're just not saying it. Man, the Alabama rig has been really good for me this year, like better than normal. And I think it is because there's not a lot of people throwing it because, the Alabama rig's not really fun to throw. And you don't have to throw the Alabama rig to get bit. But I will tell you, there are times when I pull up on a school and I can't get bit on anything, and I slow roll that Alabama rig down there close to the bottom, and I start catching them every cast. Like, it gets really good real fast, especially those schools that have some sand bass mixed in. Anytime you see some largemouth mixed in with some sand bass, odds are they're focusing on little pods of smaller shad because that's what sand bass are eating. Those largemouth are there eating the same thing the sand bass are. Are you going to catch sand bass on that Alabama rig? Absolutely. Are you going to catch the largemouth on that Alabama rig? Yep. Sometimes you're going to catch both on the same cast. So that's been going down for me in a big way. The Alabama rig's been a really key bait for me this summer, or this post-spawn. Throwing the Smash rig from Smash Tech. I've got 6 cents Divine swim bait heads, 1/8 swim bait heads on there. And I'm throwing the smallest Divine swim bait. That is the 3.3 size Divine swim bait, and I don't know what that color is, but it's that white one with some sparkle to it. I'm terrible about knowing color names. And one thing I do want to point out, as always, guys, we want to make sure that we take care of you the best we can because we are appreciative of what you guys do for us here at the channel. So if you go to 6centsfishing.com, you can order any of these 6 cents baits I've mentioned tonight. All the rods I use are 6 cents rods. You go order anything at 6centsfishing.com. Be sure you punch in the code Your Lake Fork Guide, and you'll get a 10% discount on anything you order. Now, that's my game plan. So we're going to go shallow early, first hour, 2 hours, however long we can keep getting bit. That fades. We're going to transition out, go out deep. We're going to stay after that most of the day, most likely. Worst case scenario, if that deal fails, sun's going to be out tomorrow. So if that deal fails, I'm going to go punching with a 1 ounce weight and a 6 cents prawn on a 5/0 flipping hook. I'm going to go find matted vegetation that has at least 2 or 3 foot of water under the edge of it. If the sun's out, you will catch fish under these mats, 100%. If you just stay with it and punch and cover enough water punching, you'll get some bites. You can grind out some bites. It hasn't been just a gangbuster punching bite on Lake Fork where you can really whack them and catch them up. But if the sun's out, it is a virtual guarantee for bites if you get in an area that has a lot of vegetation that has 2 or 3 foot of water under it. So that's my punt plan, I guess you say. If the offshore deal fails, we stay after that for a few hours, and it ain't working out. We're not really catching them, not really finding groups of fish. We'll transition and go back up shallow and go punching. Just goes to speak to what I was talking about earlier. There are always fish shallow on Lake Fork, always, 365 days a year. And when that offshore bite ain't working or it's too crowded, you can't get on the spots that you want to get on, don't be shy to transition and go back shallow. As these fish group up offshore, these fish will group up on these deeper grass edges shallow as well. The better the offshore bite gets, the better the shallow bite gets if you know how to break down that stuff and fish those areas. If you want to know how to fish those areas and you want to get a head start on learning how to fish those shallow areas, you need to check out the Fish Life app Lake Fork package. We just did fresh updates at the beginning of the week. And some of those offshore spots are on there, but some of those shallow spots are on there as well, where you can find punching areas that hold good vegetation for punching. You can find shallow grass areas where you can catch fish on creek channel edges around shallow grass and stuff like that. So definitely, if you want to learn how to do some of the stuff we're talking about and you want to learn some locations to kind of start and get that pattern established and really help you, the best tool you can have is that Fish Life app. So check that out. All right, let's answer some questions. If y'all have questions, now's the time to drop them. I'm going to go back and get to as many as I can that were up higher in the comments, but now's the time to ask some questions. Jack Attack says, what's up? What's up, big dog? Big John says, everybody give me a thumbs up. I like Big John. Y'all hit them thumbs up for me. Y'all, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Where's the good lily pads? Man, they're kind of random, dude. There's a little bit. He says everywhere that Cody Mays is asking, where are the good lily pads? Everywhere I fished them last year, they're not there now. They're random. You can find some far up on the northwest side. You can find some up Birch. You can find some. I haven't been to the back of Board Tree. Usually, back of Board Tree has some. You can find some up on the east side. So there's a little bit of lily pads in different areas across the lake. I mean, if you keep traveling, you'll find some. There's some pretty good pad population starting to grow in Lake Fork this year, it seems like. A lot of the vegetation is doing well this year. Last year we absolutely had some spraying that caused some issues with the grass. But even before they sprayed, last year the grass just didn't grow as good as it normally does. This year the grass is growing really good. I just saw a report where they found giant salvania in White Oak Bay, so I'm just praying they don't go spray crazy and spray all over the lake like they did last year, because we got good vegetation growth so far this year, and it should be a good grass summer as long as nothing happens to change that. I've been critical of Texas Parks and Wildlife on their spraying policy. I want to give them credit. They're doing something actually. They started it this week that's really super awesome. They went out and tagged fish under the slot, okay? And they tagged, I can't remember how many it said they tagged, but they tagged these fish, and they're going to track the movements of these fish and try to study the effects of boating pressure, angling pressure, seasonal pattern changes, tournament pressure. They're really going to track the movements of these fish. They're going to track them at a minimum of once every 2 weeks and see how different things throughout the year affect these fish. That's a phenomenal study. These results are going to be made available to the public, so you can follow along at Texas Parks and Wildlife. And we have the best Texas Outdoors department of any state in the country. I mean, we probably have the best bass fishing of any state in the country, and it's because of Texas Parks and Wildlife. We have some of the best deer hunting, some of the best bird hunting. Like, Texas Parks and Wildlife is a phenomenal organization. The only knock I've ever had against Texas Parks and Wildlife is the herbicide spray and the grass spraying is very detrimental to lakes, and they seem a little overzealous with it at times. Not all the time, but at times they get overzealous with it, and it's bad. But they do a really good job. So I'd like to take this moment to thank Texas Parks and Wildlife for all the great things that they do put into place, and studies like this one they're doing. Really, really cool study they're doing on Lake Fork right now. Am I going to do another graph video this year? I certainly can. Yeah, we did a lot of electronics videos last summer. We can definitely do more electronics videos if you guys would like to see some other. Yeah, we can happily do that. What's your thoughts on red sores showing up on the fish? Seems quite a few have them. Okay, so this is something you'll see. I think Lake Fork probably has a bigger problem with it because our fish get handled more, they get fished for more, they get caught more. But this is something that happens in the post spawn, guys. I heard this from a biologist one time. Basically, any year that you have a lot of rain in the post spawn, you're going to see a lot more of these sores show up on these fish. And in the last few years, we've had a lot of rain in the post spawn. And what happens is these fish go through the spawn, and they don't eat for sometimes weeks at a time. And their body, their nutrition, their immune system, everything gets depleted, especially their immune system gets weakened by the stress their body goes under during spawn. Okay, then you get a lot of fresh water coming into the lake. Well, that affects the pH balance and the microorganisms and all that stuff above my pay grade. It affects the balance and health of the water column. When their immune system is down, they're more prone to infections. When their water column gets monkeyed up and they have different pH balance stuff, it causes a lot of these sores to occur. Now, I'm sure handling by people, I boat flip fish probably as much or more than anybody, but I try to keep them off the carpet as much as possible. But sometimes they fall off the hook and they bounce around on the carpet, and these things happen when you have as many people fishing the lake as you do at Fork. But they're just more prone to infection. And then when you add in that the water pH balance and the water column gets off balance due to an abundance of fresh water, it causes these infections on their skin. There's nothing wrong with the fish. The fish isn't going to die. He's not unhealthy. He's just got a little boo-boo, and it goes away. So, you know, in Lake Fork, we tend to see that more than we do other places. But anytime you have a lot of rain in the spring and the post-spawn period, you'll see that on every lake. And I've seen it on other lakes I've fished this year too. So, one of the Texas Parks and Wildlife tag fish was already caught. That's really cool. Yeah, if you catch a fish on Lake Fork with a pink tag in it, take a picture of the tag number and report it to Texas Parks and Wildlife, please. That will help them with their study. Please answer Ron's question. R.E. Snell knot. Snell knot. What's your take on the snell knot for a punch rig? I actually do not use a snell knot on a punch rig. I understand the science of it. It makes the hook stand up, you know, sideways like this, makes the hook pop up when you set the hook. I get that. My deal is when I'm 20 feet from a fish and I got 65-pound braid and a 7'6" extra heavy and big old shark gaff for a hook, like, it doesn't matter what kind of knot I tie. And I have so much confidence in a polymer knot with braid that I just tie a polymer knot. Plus, it's so much easier and efficient for me to just tie a polymer knot. I'm always trying to get my bait back in the water as fast as possible. So if I think a polymer knot is going to do the job I need it to do, I'll tie it because it's the easiest knot to tie. And with braid, a polymer knot does a phenomenal job as far as knot strength goes. I don't think you need that snell knot to punch. I personally don't use a snell knot to punch. I understand the science of it. If somebody wants to say that's a better way to do it, I'm not going to argue with them on it. You know, technically, pitching left-handed is the proper way to pitch. If you have a right-handed retrieve, you should pitch with your left hand. I pitch with my right hand, switch, and then do it. I didn't have a big mentor to teach me all these technical things about fishing, so I do things, a lot of times I do things my own way. And that is my favorite part of bass fishing, is we can all kind of do things our own way in bass fishing, and it have success. It have great success. The most important thing is that you feel comfortable and confident in the technique and the different aspects of how you're fishing. Cody May says, this is a great Lake Fork question. As far as a Lake Fork specific question, it's a great question. I'm seeing so much bait fish, but hardly no fish on them. Don't understand, do we just have that much bait? Yes. That is a Lake Fork thing. You can find bait almost anywhere. You can't find bass almost anywhere. Now, do we have a lot of bass? Yes, we do. But right now, we have delayed summer happening. There's a whole lot of fish spread out in all different types of situations. There's probably still some spawners, honestly, man. It's crazy how spread out these fish are. And then there's fish that have been offshore for 2 months. But the fish are really spread out, so there's not near the number of fish out there offshore where you're graphing all that bait that there normally would be this time of year. So yes, it's very easy to find big schools of bait with nothing around them. That's very easy. One of the things that I actually like to look for is seeing the bait fish or the yellow bass or sand bass off the side of the structure. So if I've got a point that crests like this and I graph over it, if I see bait fish or smaller species like yellow bass over here and over here, that tells me there's something up here, there's something roaming around up here that's causing them to be scared. Okay, that's kind of what that clues me into. So if I'm telling you, every time in my experience on Lake Fork, if I find smaller species or bait fish over here and I find any bass at all up here, I'll catch all of these bass. When those bass are up on top and those smaller species on the side, those bass are there eating, they're actively feeding, and those smaller species are scared and they're staying off top of the structure, because if they go up there, they get eaten. So I really get excited when I see that, and I see the smaller species on the side, and I see, even if it's just a few bass on top, when I see those, I get really excited when I see that setup. Caught a bloody tail fish Saturday on Pines. Absolutely. Like, I have no doubt there's still some bass spawning. Big John's life talking about those sores on the bass. He says he calls them fish herpes. We actually call those the burpees because it's the bass herpes. Fish in the Midwest says he finally made it back. He's been killing it with a buzzbait. That is awesome. A buzzbait is a great way to catch them. That is so much fun. Z-Dub late, but he's here. Z-Dub's in the house. My boy Z-Dub. Seminar tomorrow. We do have a seminar. Seminar at Lake Fork Marina tomorrow at 6 p.m. Be there or be square. No, we of course would appreciate any of you guys that could come out if you're in the area. We'd love to see you at Lake Fork Marina. We're doing it outside. You can spread out, get away from us. You won't get the coronavirus, as they say. Yeah, we're doing it outside under the pavilion right there by the hotel at Lake Fork Marina. So y'all come see us if you're in the area, man. We'd love to have you out. If not, then the first half of the seminar will air this Sunday. The second half will air next Sunday, as always. You know, we've done a better job this week of being consistent on our time schedule of content production. I'm going to try to maintain that going forward. Pretty much you guys can count on 6 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, 6 p.m., Thursday, 8 o'clock, and then Sundays, again, 6 p.m. So all of our videos, so I guess Sunday through Wednesday, 6 p.m. we'll have a new video. Sundays will be seminar videos. Mondays will be Day on the Water videos. Tuesdays will be podcasts. Wednesdays will be Guides Network, in-depth, super in-depth instructionals like we do. Can I bring a beer? Absolutely, you can bring a beer, as long as you bring one for me. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. I don't even drink beer. But yeah, you can definitely bring a beer to drink at the seminar. That's certainly welcome. Todd said, I'll be on the phone. Todd came to the last seminar, stood across the parking lot, talking on the phone the whole time. Hey, man, sometimes life and work gets in the way. Somebody was asking, hear anything about the missing angler from Monday, June 1st, boat found running near State Highway 154 bridge? I'm going to be honest with you. In my life, I don't hear much about anything. I just kind of go fishing and then come home and create content. I really don't pay attention to a whole lot. I did not hear about that. I'm really sorry I didn't hear about that. I would have spread the word on that to the best of my ability. And then I heard somebody else commented they still have not found him. So, man, I don't know what the deal with that is. That's a scary, scary deal, man. Hopefully, whoever was involved in that is okay. Golly, that's wild. Busted a big one on Big Perm Monday at Lone Star. That's awesome. What up, Jason Young? We appreciate you joining us. Cody May says he won't steal my rod like someone else. That'd be Vic Pearsall. Tried to steal my Big Perm rod the last seminar 2 weeks ago. Can I recap the top 5? No, I can't, because I didn't do a top 5. I actually did. We're not doing top 5 anymore. I did like a report and a preview of my game plan for tomorrow, but I'll recap it real quick the best I can. So I'm going to start my morning out on a frog and a small 1/4 ounce yellow magic popper around some grass and scattered grass, open water. And I'm also going to throw a small swim bait and a small chatterbait in those same areas. That's going to be how I start my morning. We're going to do that for the first hour or two until that bite fades. Then we're going to transition and go graph all kinds of depth, long main lake points offshore. And my 3 baits offshore that I talked about was a big 3/4 ounce hybrid jig, Big Perm on the big shaky head from 6 cents, and an Alabama rig. Those were the baits I used there. And then the other thing that I talked about is if that offshore bite doesn't work out for me, I'm going to flip around, go back shallow, find some matted vegetation, and go punching. Sun's going to be out tomorrow, so it should be a punching bite. So that's how we're going to do that. How's the Ghost holding up? Ghost is great, man. Ghost is great. Freaking silent as it can be. That you do not hear any noise from that propeller on that Ghost. It's unbelievable how quiet it is. The spotlight, when it locks in, oh man, it's so steady. Like, it doesn't waver at all. It's unbelievable how steady it holds you. Really, really pleased with that Ghost trolling motor, Lawrence Ghost trolling motor. All right. Hey, if you guys had a question that I missed, is that a chip on your boat? I don't know where you're talking about. I don't have any chips on my boat. Where's Skeeter? I'd rather look at her and just hear me. I would rather look at her and just hear me too. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of bait scattered out tonight, and there wasn't, like Skeeter would have been. She's gotten to an age. She's at a rambunctious age. I don't know if she's what I want to deal with on live. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, she might be over here chewing on one of my rods, and just craziness. So she's good, man. She's an awesome dog. She's a lot of fun, but she's got a lot of energy right now. A lot of energy right now. Oh, yeah, one more announcement before we wrap it up. We'll wrap it up after this. So, guys, please don't forget the July 4th and 5th. We're going to call it the Fish Life Forever Grateful Tournament. The tournament is going to benefit the organization 22 Kill, which is a great military organization, nonprofit, that goes to suicide prevention for veterans, which is a very, very important thing. There's a lot of guys that have sacrificed an immense amount for this country that have a hard time dealing with what they've seen and what they've done, honestly. And 22 Kill does a great job of trying to reach out to those people and prevent suicides by the heroes of our nation, which is so important to us. Everybody that I associate with, that I work with at Fish Life, everybody that I do business with, are all on the same page of that being an immensely important cause. We looked into it. They spend their money wisely. They keep their overhead low. We dug into that before we decided to go with them. A great organization. We're proud to be trying to do whatever we can to donate something to maybe help them in some small way. Plus, we're going to get out on July 4th and 5th, celebrate our nation's independence while remembering and being grateful for those that have provided that independence and maintained it for us. And we're going to do an open team tournament on Saturday, July 4th. It's actually going to be two different tournaments. So you have an open team tournament on Saturday, July 4th. It's going to be a $100 entry, 70% payback, 30% going to charity. We're going to have some items auctioned at the weigh-in, so stick around for the weigh-in. Even if you didn't catch them, you're going to have a chance to get something really cool for a good price. So we're going to auction items at the weigh-in. We're also going to have a second tournament on July 5th. This is going to be a guides tournament. We're going to have guides that you can bid on to be your tournament partner, to be your boat captain for the Sunday tournament. So it'll be a silent auction where you can bid on different guides and see who you want to fish with for that tournament. And you'll get to go out and fish a tournament format with a guide on Sunday. And we're going to do an MLF format on that day. So every fish over 2 pounds will count on Sunday when you're fishing with a guide. It'll be weigh them in the boat. We'll have updates going out throughout the day to let you know where you stand and who's catching what. And also, one of the guides that will be being auctioned off is me, but I will also have Cody Cannon, the lead singer of Whiskey Myers, is going to be in the boat with me. So you'll get the chance to be the third wheel, to be our third teammate, to be the third man in our boat with myself and Cody Cannon from Whiskey Myers, which he's a really good fisherman and he's a really fun guy to hang out with. If you've never had a chance to meet Cody Cannon, he's an awesome dude. And they're going to help us out with some stuff with the auction, and they're getting involved. Whiskey Myers is getting involved as a band to help us, and they've always been one of my favorite bands, maybe my very favorite current band. And their willingness to just jump in on this deal has really made me feel really good about being a fan of theirs. So, I'm about to sneeze. I'm about to sneeze. Ah! I fought it off. I whipped that sneeze. So y'all be ready for that. We're going to try to have flyers ready next week. We're going to try to get some registration forms set up where you guys can start registering for it. It's going to be we're going to try to make a big deal out of it. We've got full-on weigh-in trailers and holding tanks and release boats. It's going to be a big deal now. We're going to need a bunch of y'all to show up because we're going to pull out all the stops. So we need a bunch of you guys to show up. Awesome, man. You guys rock, dude. Seeing all these thumbs up in the comments. Really, really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, man. All right. Want to make sure I didn't miss any more questions before I wrapped it up. So thank you guys so much for joining us for our top baits for the week. Lake Fork Bass Fishing live edition like we do every Thursday. We'll be right back here next Thursday at 8 o'clock. And the next video you guys will see come out will be the seminar video on Sunday. So y'all go catch some fish tomorrow evening. Go catch some fish Saturday and Sunday. Then Sunday evening, check out the seminar video, and then we'll have content Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll keep that rolling forward just like that. I think I've said everything I need to say. I probably said a lot more than I should say. So thank y'all so much. We'll see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.